Okay, so 10 e to the 2x plus 1 equals 8. You are not going to be able to get your bases the same. So for this problem, you've got two options, and I'm going to do, or you've got a couple options, and I'm going to do it 3 different ways. So one way I'm going to have you do, the first way I'm going to have you do it is, so you're going to put it in exponential form. So you're going to rearrange, or sorry, not in exponential form. It is in exponential form. You're going to put it in logarithmic form. So this is log base e of 8 equals 2x plus 1. So log base e is just natural log of 8. So that gives you natural log of 8 minus 1 equals 2x. And then you divide. So natural log of 8 minus 1 over 2. If you plug in natural log of 8 minus 1 over 2, you're going to get approximately 0.54 as your x. That's one way to do it, is to put it in logarithmic form. I'm going to show you 2 other ways on the next screen to also do this. So again, this is way number 2. So if I look at e to the 2x plus 1, let's make this look in plus 1 equals 8. Okay, I can also just take the log. Oops, let me erase and tell you what I'm doing. So you can take the natural log or the log of both sides. And since this one is an e, the inverse, because you're really just taking the inverse of e to the x, is natural log of x. So I'm going to take the natural log of both sides, because what you do to one side you have to do to the other. And then, if you remember when we did these a couple sections ago, oops, let me get my pointer, that if you have a natural log and an e, this is going to simplify to 2x plus 1 equals natural log of 8. And then you're going to end up kind of in the same place that we did on the other screen. 2x equals natural log of 8 minus 1. Natural log of 8 minus 1 over 2. It's going to give you approximately, I forgot what I said, so let me do it again. Natural log 8 minus 1 over 2 is approximately 0.54. That is the next option. Let me do one more option for you. So let me do this. This is the third way you could do this. And I don't care which way you do it. I'm just letting you know that there's more than one way to do it. So if my base here is an e, then you're just going to take log base e, or log base whatever it is. If this was a 3, you would do log base 3. If this was a 5, you would do log base 5. And I'll do that on some other problems. E to the 2x plus 1 equals log base e of 8. And again, as long as this is an e and this is an e, this is going to simplify to 2x plus 1. Log base e is natural log. So again, you end up with natural log of 8 minus 1 over 2, which gives you approximately 0.54. So there are several ways that you can solve the exponential ones. And I'll do the same thing with some other ones in a minute. 11. If I have 3 to the 6x minus 3 equals 2 to the 4 minus 4x. Okay. On this one, since your bases are different, okay, you can't just rewrite this in exponential form. So if your bases are different and can't be reduced, I would just take the log or natural log of both sides. Since we're dealing with exponentials with a base of 3's and 2's, just do the log of both sides. Okay, so once you do that, once it's in log form, the whole point of this is I can move these exponents to the front. So now you're moving this whole thing to the front to a 6x minus 3 times log 3. And you're moving this 4 minus 4x to the front. Okay. And now that you don't have any exponents, you can get them all on one side. Move your x's to one side and your logs to the other. So you're going to have 6x minus 3 over 4 minus 4x equals log 2 over log 3. And hold on, let me write that down because I'm going to need to put this on the next screen. I ran out of space. Okay, let me rewrite what we had on the last screen. You had 6x minus 3 over 4 minus 4x equals log 2 over log 3. So we're going to plug this in the calculator, log 2 over log 3. Log 2 divided by log 3. And I'm going to round this to 2 decimal places. 6x minus 3 over 4 minus 4x. And then we're going to solve. Multiply both sides by 4 minus 4x. That way those cancel. You have 6x minus 3 equals 0.63 times 4. All I'm doing is distributing. Gives me 2.52 minus 2.52x. And then I'm going to solve. So I'm going to move over my 2.52. That gives me 6x minus 5.52 equals negative 2.52x. Move over my 6x. That gives me, let's change colors and I'll come up here. Negative 5.52 equals negative 8.52x. And then divide by both sides by negative 8.52. So negative 5.52 divided by negative 8.52 gives me my x is about 0.65. Okay, so let's move on to the next. Problem 12. We have e to the 2x minus e to the x minus 2 equals 0. And if you'll notice, this kind of looks like an x squared minus x minus 2. So it kind of looks like this kind of quadratic. The only difference is you have e to the x. So it's still going to factor. So I can split up e to the 2x into e to the x and e to the x. And then I have to come up with two things that multiply, that multiply to be negative 2, add to be negative 1, which is a negative 2 and a positive 1. And then I'm going to just set each one equal to 0. And then I'm going to solve. So if I do log base e of 2 equals x, log base e of negative 1 equals x. First thing you should notice is that you have a negative here, which you can't do. So this is extraneous. And so now log base e is just natural log. So I'm going to put natural log of 2 in the calculator. And that gets me my x is approximately 0.69. You have log x plus log x minus 3 equals log 28. So again, I have two logs. I need to condense these. This is log x times x minus 3 equals log 28. So as long as my bases are the same, I can set x squared minus 3x equal to 28. Move it over. Factor. And that means my x's are going to be 7 and negative 4. And again, what do we have to do next? We have to plug them back in. If I plug in -4 here, I'm going to get a -7 and a -4 here. So this is going to be extraneous. Okay, so all I'm going to have is 7. 14. I have log x log 2 log base 3 of 81 equals 2. So I'm going to work my way from the inside out. I'm going to do this part first. So in my head, I'm going to think 3 to what power is 81? And that's going to be 3 to the 4th. So this whole thing is equal to 4. So now I have log base x. This is basically a composition within a composition within a composition. So now I'm going to simplify this one next. So I have to think in my head 2 to what power is 4. That means that this whole thing is 2. So now I have log base x of 2 equals 2. And so if I rearrange this, I have x squared equals 2. And so if I want to try to figure out what x is, take a square root. Now normally you would get plus or minus square root of 2, but remember, you cannot have a negative number. Your base has to be positive. Sorry, same thing here. This base has to be a positive number. It's not going to be a negative number. So I just have square root of 2. And then the last one, I think this is 15. I'm probably misnumbering them. 4 plus 3e to the 5x equals 27. I'm just going to solve. Minus 4 gives me 3e to the 5x equals 23. E to the 5x equals 23 thirds. So if I put this in log form, this is log base e of 23 thirds equals 5x, which is natural log of 23 thirds over 5 equals x. So if I type natural log 23 thirds divided by 5, that's going to give me approximately 0.41 for my x.